Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Or should I say back to my channel? Last week I made a video about the Supreme Court case about the trans healthcare for trans minors. And something that I said in that video was that if only these people had met a trans kid, I feel like their minds would be changed. I feel like we could really get through to them, you know what I mean? Then there I was scrolling on my little TikTok and they're interviewing trans kids. Not only are they interviewing them, the trans kids are honestly slaying. They're kind of eating them up, as the kids say. Is my nose contour too harsh right now? It definitely is. Can we just ignore it? For today's video, we're going to be watching some of the scenes from this interview because I think it's very important that we see firsthand what trans kids are saying about these bills that are passing in the Supreme Court case, all that stuff. My name is Samantha. I post new videos twice a week here on my channel. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me over on, oh my God, I almost just said make sure to follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, but like, I don't have Twitter anymore. TikTok's going down. You guys, things are happening. It's crazy out here. Subscribe extra hard. I don't know. I do also have a Twitch channel that I play video games on every single week. And also before we start, I do have a Patreon. So if you guys like the work that I do here on my channel and you would like to support that work, Patreon is the best way to do that. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into this little interview. It's a little sad, but we're gonna tell jokes. It's gonna be fine.
More than $200 million were spent this election cycle in anti-trans ads. What does that feel like to have so much attention by all these politicians on your identity?
It makes me feel like they think we're puppets that they can play with, and it's just so wrong.
It made you feel disrespected?
Made me feel like literally dead inside. It's probably honestly the worst thing I've ever felt. I've heard transphobic politicians that say, no, you have the wrong gender, you're confused, honey. No, myself is a fact, not an opinion. And they don't get to decide that for me. I get to decide that for myself.
I love her. My identity is a fact. I love her. You're gonna try to tell me that she doesn't know who she is? F right off. Right off the bat, this first girl, I think her name is Dylan in the green. She is seeing right through the mass hate campaign that this last election cycle was. $200 million were spent on anti-trans ads this last election cycle. And regardless of whether or not that was the motivating factor that got people to vote, I don't understand how you can watch something like this or listen to a young person like this tell you the ways that your specific rhetoric is hurting them, and then in the same breath be like, I'm doing this to protect you. It's delusion, babe. Like, the cognitive dissonance must be excruciating. They're doing this, in my opinion, not because they actually care about trans minors, but because they realize the power of creating an enemy. And what easier way to convince the masses that there's a villain than to say that they're going after your children? Okay, but I think they're about to talk about gender affirming care now, so let's listen.
The Supreme Court is taking on a Tennessee law that is banning gender affirming care for minors. So this is things like hormones, puberty blockers. Roughly 24 states have passed restrictions on gender affirming care. It's clearly a big political issue, but I want to understand what gender affirming care means for you. Why is this something that's important for your family?
I don't know what kind of care my kids are going to need in the future, but I also believe in body autonomy and parental rights. And so my kids deserve access to the same life-saving care that other cisgender kids are receiving without politicians interfering.
You want the choice?
Yes.
I think if politicians really were in it for the kids' sake, then they would take the time and listen to what they have to say. I think that they would focus on real things like climate change instead of using our identities as a pawn just to get votes or just to stay in an office. Me and my family have spent a lot of our time going back and forth to our state capital in Arizona. The amount of times I've been disrespected, misgendered, dismissed just because of how young I am by these people who want to protect me.
Yes, this is a parental rights issue, and more people need to be talking about that. More people need to be focusing on the fact that if you're a parent, you should be pissed right now. If I was a parent and somebody told me that my child and I didn't know what was best for my own child, I would be livid. And then imagine you turn around and then they give your neighbor Susie the same exact medication that you're like begging them for, that you're like now having to watch your kids suffer because they can't access. You should be mad right now because unfortunately the case that they're referring to, it's not looking great. It hasn't been decided fully yet, but it's not looking great. Again, though, I love how intelligent these kids are and how well spoken they are. He really ate that up. Misgendering him, disrespecting him, invalidating his experience just makes such a lovely case for people who care a lot about children, right?
The first time Daniel ever lobbied, he was 9 years old. and he's gonna be 18 next August, 2 months after this ruling. And so he will have spent a majority of his life defending his existence. And so I just want Daniel and Violet and Dylan to live in a world that just lets them be. And in a world where they can be safe. I really worry that the rhetoric has gotten so bad.
There's so many like racist, anti-trans people that I should be a kid at school right now worrying about my own stuff and like not having to do this, yet my childhood is honestly kind of ruined.
And that speaks to the suicide rate of trans youth. Like this is real, this is serious.
And we know that the statistics around the loss of life of Black and brown trans women is already high.
It's just so fucking sad that these kids have to like know about this and deal with this and fight for their existence like these parents are saying. Girl, don't even think about it. Go back to playing with like whatever you're playing with. We'll fight for you. It's gonna be fine.
Now we're facing another 4 years with Trump back in the White House. I'm wondering how you are all coping with that reality.
I just don't want to think about what he's gonna do, like in Arizona where we all live and we're probably gonna live.
Do you think it'll be harder to be a trans kid under President Trump?
Yes, a lot harder.
I mean, unfortunately, it is definitely very concerning, right? I'm so grateful for youth like this and for supportive parents like this who are willing to be vocal and who are willing to share their stories, because these are the stories that are so important right now. Real life trans kids who benefit from gender affirming care and from supportive parents and supportive environments, and who will feel the impacts of these hate campaigns. I know that there definitely are people out there, and maybe you're somebody out there who is watching right now who doesn't know how they feel about the whole trans kid debate. I hope that hearing firsthand from these trans kids and in a sense like meeting them, you know what I mean? I just hope that it helps humanize the experience a little bit.
What concerns have you had about speaking out?
That I'm gonna be like murdered. Like one day I'm gonna be walking down the street and somebody's gonna come up and like shoot me or something.
She asked me three questions after she heard who won the election. Are we gonna have to move? Are they gonna take me away from you? And am I not gonna be able to get my medicine? It's frightening.
I think they mentioned in an interview so often, trans people's lives and their stories get reduced down to numbers. So sitting here, watching them, listening to them is important, especially when we have people like frickin' Brett Cooper making videos like she was making last week. That's about it for today's video. It was a short little one, but I just wanted to share this with you guys because I'm so proud of these trans young people. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up down below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos twice a week here on my channel. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.